Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori Brame and this is Holy City Mystic. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to continue with our Yod series and talk about the Saturn Yod. This is when, not that any Yods are easy to have, like a Yod is a destiny point in your chart. Actually 3. You have the 2 bases and then the apex. If you guys want to learn more about what a Yod is and how to identify it in your birth chart, you can watch the link below where I explain all that to you. But basically, whatever planet is at the apex of the Yod, that is going to be the one doing the heavy lifting. Yods in general are a purpose, a destiny, like a finger of God where it is literally pointing you in a certain direction and it is absolutely unavoidable. But having a Saturn Yod, that's some work, literally, some hard work, because that is what Saturn is. Saturn is all about restrictions and structure and government and rules and regulations and literally all these things that are so restrictive. And Saturn is also Father Time. And so a lot of times things are delayed to people who have Saturn at the apex of their Yod. So one of the things that's really hard for these people is that Saturn is in 2 irritating aspects to the 2 bases. So a quincunx is something where action must happen. It's like, it's not as severe as a square or an opposition, but it's also not pleasant, like a sextile or a trine. It's something where there's some kind of irritation or itch, or something where it's like you have to move. Something has to happen. There is such an awkward disagreement that something has to move in order for it to resolve. So Saturn has 2 quincunxes that it's dealing with here to the 2 bases. So that being the case, you probably have a really strong love-hate relationship with structure, where it's like, you know that's the best thing for you, but it's really hard for you for one reason or another. Or it's one of those things that is like really easy for you, however, you cannot make peace with the rest of the world being unstructured. Like many things in astrology, this can manifest in different ways, so I don't like saying this is how it will manifest for you. I just like showing you all the ways that it might manifest. So since Saturn is so regulated and structured, and the rings of Saturn are the things that bind it, that's where the mythology came from, and also for a long time in ancient times, it was the first planet we could see with the naked eye, so it marked that boundary of a personal universe. So if you have Saturn at the apex of your Yod, there is a lot of focus around Saturn. And Saturn, a lot of people say it's the work you do. It's the karma that you have to resolve during this lifetime. So that's why Saturn returns are such a big thing, it's that karma that you have to resolve. Those lessons that you were supposed to be learning the entire time, and then your Saturn return is kind of like your test, where you have to take all those lessons that you've accumulated over the years and put them into practice. I also did another video on Saturn returns as a side note in case you guys are interested in that one. I'll also link it below. So unlike the Uranus apex of the Yod, where sudden big things can happen often, Saturn Yod, a lot of things are going to be hurry up and wait, where there are going to be difficulties that come up that the native has to work through. However, there are going to be things that might not be able to be resolved quickly. This is one of the longer Yods to actually mature and resolve. And what I mean by that is for all the lessons you learn from it to be able to be in a place of ripeness where you're able to give those lessons back out to the world and benefit the world through your Yod, which of course is the purpose of all Yods, I personally believe. Things that you can be working with a Saturn Yod are learning structure's place in your life. So whether or not that can be, you're kind of all over the place and it's like you have so many things that are just getting in the way of you being a structured person, learning how you can incorporate structure in your life in a healthy way. Another thing is authority. Saturn can also rule that, or even a father figure. Learning a healthy place for that to be in your life. You could oscillate between 2 extremes where it's just like, screw authority, I don't care what anybody thinks except for me and my friends and the things that I want to do. You could also be in a place where there is ultimate authority and you just, you kind of tiptoe around your life because you're afraid of pissing off people that you feel like are over you. Or it's like you might work for a boss and they're really great, really understanding and everything like that, but you stop doing a lot of things even when you're off the clock because you feel like they wouldn't approve. It can also be conflicts with literally time itself. Sometimes astrology is extremely literal. So it could be things where you feel like you're always working on somebody else's timeline and you don't have your own timeline because you don't feel like you're allowed, like you're restricted in that way. So a lot of times the purpose of this Yod is to bring authority into a healthy place. And you have struggled with authority and restriction and organization and structure your entire life because it's in these two very irritating aspects. And so that's the part where you can learn those healthy boundaries. You can learn how to bring structure into your life in a very healthy way. And you can show by example or by preaching it out to others, this is how to do it in a healthy way that is not going to overpower you and also not in the way where you feel like you have to rebel against it all the time or like it's crushing your soul or something. Now, if you have a child with Saturn at the apex of their Yod, there might be some very literal things that happen to them growing up that restrict them. They might do something, that's like very external restriction, like going to a very strict religious school, or they might have a teacher that is just like very, very overpowering that they have to learn how to cope with that. They also might have some kind of physical restriction, like maybe they need leg braces growing up or something like that, where it's just they're in a very restricted place. It also might be something as small as growing up during the pandemic where they couldn't hang out with the people that they wanted to. They really had to stay in a very confined place in order to be in the correct place. Another way that this might manifest is overly controlling, where they just feel like any tiny piece of disorder is something so far beyond what they can handle that they kind of freak out. So, kids that are always telling on other kids and always just walking around so stressed out that everybody is doing the right thing in the exact way possible. And they might even catch you in certain things where it's like, you say one thing one day and then the next day you're just like, oh no, that's fine. And they're just like, but you said that was a rule. And then you're like, well, it was a rule that day because that was when it's convenient, but today it doesn't really matter. Stuff like that, where it's like, they really care a lot about structure. Another way that this could manifest is they just like freak out with any structure. It's like anything is just too overwhelming to them. And when Saturn is the apex, it is really hard because it's like their whole purpose is to learn the correct placement, the healthy placement of structure in their life. And so over the course of their childhood and young adulthood, they could oscillate widely between the two, where it's like, they just sell all of their things and they go out in a camper and they just kind of live their life for a while, when they reach young adulthood. Or they might go into the corporate world and they are just completely a matter of fact how it goes every single time, but they might have a boss that doesn't really love structure. It might be like a more artsy boss where they're just like, oh, come in when you're ready, as long as you get all your work done, I don't really care when you're here, stuff like that. And that might really rub them the wrong way. So the important thing, either if you're parenting yourself or you're parenting a child with this Yod, is to know that your whole purpose is learning the place of structure, time, authority, restriction, and organization in your own life. Whether you have too much of it or not enough of it, that is something you really have to explore for yourself. But learning the healthy place of it is the whole purpose behind this Yod. And then being able to give that back out to the world, where somebody will just be totally lost. They don't really know what place that should have in their life. And then you can help them because you've been through all of it. You've been through every single part of this lesson. And then you can share your wisdom with them and make their lives easier. If you have a Saturn Yod, please tell me how it's going. Let me know what's going on in your life. I would love to hear. I love hearing people's stories because this astrology is just so interesting to me. I love studying Yods. And that's all I got. So you guys take care and I will see you next time.